Welcome back to Stream A here at the Rainbow Six Sweden Major. My name is Jess Goat, and I'm yet again joined by Fresh just for a little bit longer in the day. I know you've been putting in a big stint already, and well, we had a bit of a banger on Chalet in the past game. Now we want to jump into an even bigger banger, and to give you a little bit of a preface as to what we mean by that, let's bring up the standings for Group A and B, because the very match that we're going to bring to your screen is going to be from Group A. It's going to be the top dogs of Group A, Rogue going up against the Chiefs, the Europeans versus the Australians, and that's almost like having you and me in a boxing ring, the Australian versus the European.
Who wins?
I think a lot of people would argue I would.
Yeah, you are very intimidating, Jess.
Thank you very much.
And that is a compliment. That's the best compliment I could pay you. And talking about Group A, I'm just going to set the scene because you're going to see two games simultaneously. Rogue against the Chiefs is on Rainbow Six, Twitch.tv Rainbow Six.
Yep.
FaZe against Oxygen will be on Rainbow Six Bravo.
Okay.
Now, if Rogue get a regulation win against the Chiefs,
which means 3 points.
Which means 3 points.
Understood.
And FaZe pick up any points, which means a win or an overtime against Oxygen, then Rogue will be our first team confirmed to the playoffs.
Out of any group?
Out of any group, because it's the game 4, which is the first time you can get a team confirmed. And obviously Rogue are there on 3 points. They would be on 10. It would then mathematically make them the first team in the playoffs. So, big incentive.
Wow, so we are setting the scenes here. We're laying the foundation for a very, very beautiful house to be built upon it for Rogue to sit nice and comfortably in, to sail themselves into a nice playoffs position, yes?
Yes.
Alrighty, well, speaking of, let's start off with their opponents today. Bring up their roster. It's the Chiefs, and I am very, very proud to introduce them as the Australian, the honorary Australian that was the only one that could ever attend events since the lockdown began. And now I have my Australian brethren here with me. Look at them all smiling and absolutely happy to have just got off, I'm sure, a 30-hour set of flights. And it's going to be God Legion, Worthy, Digital, Fisher Guy, and Ethan. Of course, third in their group thus far, but that could change.
Yeah, and you talk about the flights. I spoke to Turtle and he said it's something we haven't had to... Turtle, who's the coach analyst for Chiefs, he said it's something we haven't had to contend with, is the fact that we'll have 30-hour flights and a bit of jet lag when we arrive. It's a very short turnaround. They arrived Saturday, they competed Monday. Yep. And they've competed valiantly as well. Obviously, getting the win that we saw earlier on today. They're going into the second game. They had a very close run fight with Rogue in the first fixture, and they'll be hoping to do it again today.
Well, they have a formidable opponent going up against them. It is going to be Rogue, not someone I had tipped to necessarily top the group, but I'm also not surprised they are, because what they did in Stage 3 after an abysmal Stage 2 in EUL League is just come out of nowhere and cause an absolute ruckus. They are someone who wants to be disruptive, and with Prano at the helm of the leadership now, bringing him into the lineup, Aces, Leon Gids, Rips and Crine have been unleashed.
Momentum's a weird and wonderful thing. You start the stage out, and Rogue's ambition was, let's not finish in the 9th or 10th position in EUL. And they went so well, they finished 4th in EUL, they got a spot in this major, and it's just continued through. They had a pretty poor day yesterday, but they got 2 overtime wins. They got 4 points. They came out today against Team 1. Yep. And they won. No, sorry, not Team 1, FaZe.
FaZe, yes.
They came out against
the Latin American team.
EU has been doing a lot of winning against Latin today. So, you know, Rogue came out against FaZe today, and they won. It became a close fight in the end, but they put in a good performance against what looked like the best team in the world yesterday in FaZe.
Absolutely.
And they're now on the brink of making playoffs, and they're just riding this wave of momentum and seeing how far it can take them. Everything from not being relegated from EUL is a cherry on the top for them. So let's just see how far they go.
You know, it's funny because obviously between these teams, we were speaking about the stakes. There's even something beyond this major here in Sweden. The Chiefs cannot qualify for 6 Invitational. They cannot accrue enough points. But guess what? Their opponents can, and they're going to choose Clubhouse to do it on. And it's going to be the decider here throughout that map. Vito, what are you thinking?
Just 1 point on the 6 Invitational is if Rogue confirm themselves for playoffs, I think they need to get to the semi-finals to confirm themselves for Invitational. So first step today, confirm playoffs. Yep. Then in the playoffs, obviously, get to semi-final, win 1 best of 3. You're at the 6 Invitational as well. Big carrot for them. Clubhouse, it's a Rogue map. They love this map. It's literally their first or second preference map. They want to play it all the time. We saw them play against Vitality the last day of EUL once both teams were confirmed to be here. It was a bit of a troll fest, dare I say. They played a lot of Byron stage. There was a lot of Oryx play. But they know how to play this map against the top teams in and around Europe. They've been head-to-head with some of the top teams. I'm thinking BDS and Empire potentially. They played there in EUL and played well. Vitality did as well. It's a staple map for EU teams, and generally across the board, EU teams are good at Clubhouse.
Well, Clubhouse is actually a staple map around the globe, and there is not a better battleground for these two teams who live on completely opposite sides of our entire globe to go head-to-head on. They're going to go to Hanover, Germany to hit it off on Clubhouse as we stand in Chile here in Sweden. We'll be back very shortly with the Chiefs going up against Rogue.
Welcome back, boys and girls. It's time for us to get underway with Chiefs coming up against Rogue. Now, in classic player fashion, I've been informed that one player has temporarily stepped out for a bathroom break, Ace. So we get a time to talk a bit of smack in your ears. Nothing too surprising there. It's almost like it's what we get paid to do for a living. Weird that, isn't it?
It's very weird. I mean, you know, if the players got to be comfortable, they've got to be ready for the game.
What about me and my comfort, Ace? I'm going for a toilet break. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Nobody cares about your comfort, Des. Least of all me. So we're just going to carry on. Des has just put his mic up on his head. He's just trying to pretend he's not here.
No, it's for my comfort, actually. You know, just give me 5 minutes.
Well, we're going to have Rogue versus Chiefs coming up very soon. This is going to be an interesting one. Rogue, of course, topping the table at the minute. Chiefs getting themselves a good first win, but against a significantly weakened Oxygen team. So Chiefs now need to take that momentum, double down if they want to get anything out of this one. They're going up against the top team, and I think that Rogue are going to make this difficult, if I'm honest.
I agree with you. I came back from my comfort break, by the way. I feel a lot happier now.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
I'm sure that everybody is relieved.
I'm ready to deal with your crap for a whole game.
I'm sure that everybody is breathing a collective sigh of relief with me.
Ace, shut up. Let's get into game. Clubhouse is underway.
I'm uncomfortable now.
You can take your mic off now.
I need a comfort break.
72% of you are with Rogue. This is one of their go-to maps, but Chiefs, as we saw earlier on today, can occasionally pop their head above the parapet and cause a bit of an upset. Let's see how it goes down in the banning phase with Chiefs kicking things off with their attacker ban.
We're coming in any second now. It's going to be Hibana. No surprises there on Clubhouse. We know how important the hatchers are. So that's going to be the Hatch Queen gone by the wayside. Not going to be picked up. And the second attacker picked very quickly by Rogue. We see the timer drop down. And no surprises why it was picked quickly. It's going to be Thatcher.
Absolutely no surprises at all. Hibana, a hard breach ban on this map, definitely far away from being unfamiliar. I think since we saw Ace get added into the game, and obviously before him Maverick, they were a lot more hotly contested bans. Like if you ban 1 or 2 away, suddenly the game became incredibly tough. Whereas with 4 on the table these days, it's a little bit of a different story, especially when you also consider that a number of operators now have 2 hard breach gadgets. I forget the team that did it. I want to say it was Rogue, but I think it was someone else. They brought along 2 operators with hard breach gadgets rather than any hard breaches at all. It was really interesting. Buck and Zero were their go-to picks. It could have been Oxygen, actually. I forget. I digress. It doesn't matter. The bans are done, and we are going into game, ladies and gentlemen. Rogue start things off on the attacking side, so it could be a great start for Chiefs. And you and I were joking yesterday about the number of fishing-related puns we can pull off because of Fisho Guy. We finally get our game.
Got the opportunity.
Hook, line and sinker.
Hook, line and sinker. Yeah, you know, Chiefs, they had a great result earlier.
Just popped ahead in from the side like, no.
Having absolutely none of it.
Absolutely none of this crap today, no.
Well, unfortunately, doesn't get to decide what goes on in this game.
Can we just touch on for a second how fantastic she's looked this event?
11 out of 10.
I think I offended her earlier. I said to her, you look like a schoolgirl. And she's like, schoolgirl? I wasn't going for that look. I was going for the kind of like maid, mistress, wife kind of vibe. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to get the assumption wrong on the outfit.
Whatever look she was going for, Des, she's absolutely nailed it, is what I will say.
Also, I mean, Hap's going as IKEA, so it's a blend today.
That's it. He came in, he was so excited. Hap came in and he was like, look at my tyres, look at my tie. I've got my Sweden outfit on for today.
Did you know on the back of his shirt it says IKEA Warrington?
He was, he was so excited.
I have no idea what he just said, but we'll pretend we heard him and acknowledge him. Yes, Hap, we love you too. Enough digressing. Let's get on with the game and see how the setup's going to play out in round number 1. We are indeed defending on the downstairs in Church and Arsenal. And it's not quite a usual SSG roam. You know, the Mute, the Mozzie, the Vigil, the Castle, the 4 operators that are very much the hallmark of that go-to strategy, because there is no Mozzie. There is still a Mute. But clearly more stock is being placed into a little bit of sight help by the looks of it as well. They want the Alibi. They want the Melusi on side with those Banshees to slow down any potential rushes to what would be the site, but it's still going to be an extension throughout the map. On the other side, Rips on that Flores. We saw it banned away in our game on Group B between BDS and NIP just a moment ago. You're really going to see it come into its own on this map once gadgets start getting knocked over for fun.
Certainly will. The Chiefs have had a lot of support behind them, not just from our ANZ side as well. You know, we've obviously got all our fellow casters over that side behind them, looking to cheer them on. But I've seen, I think it was God Legion's mother on Twitter as well.
Yep.
Full support, jersey on, absolutely everything. I love to see it. I love to see it. We've got, you know, quite a few Siege parents that are involved out there that are, you know, always backing the children up on socials and cheering them along, and it's great to see.
Absolutely it is. Prano's found his way inside of Dirt here and looking to step his way forwards, but being patient for now whilst the rest of Rogue get themselves set up on different areas around the map. Many a time we have seen a player die on the sword or the shotgun in this particular case. There's 2 of them starting to push their way through. Fisher Guy hanging out on the top floor, not quite taking the bait though, hanging back a little bit further from that grenade and should be able to waste a bit more time.
2 from Rogue just trying to move their way down Dirt Tunnel, and I'm just a little bit concerned for Chiefs here, Des. I don't know how much of a handle they've actually got on those players. We're about to find out. Leon's got himself inside a sight, and this could be a quick one if Rogue manage to push in. Aces, Leon, they get the kills. God Legion traded out in there. 4 versus 2 now as Prano starts to get that diffuser down, and this is going to be a quick round from Rogue. It's now 2 versus 4. Worthy and Fisher Guy, of course, we saw Worthy pick up a 1 versus 3 earlier on today. We know that he's got it in his locker, but this is just going to be a little bit of a different challenge for him here.
This is the thing, Rogue are so good at these lightning pace executes, and they pulled it off wonderfully. Worthy, is he worthy of the clutch? Is he worthy of the praise that we might be looking to pile on? And here, Fisher Guy is trying to cast out the rod, see what he can find, but Leon bites back. It's a piranha downstairs, and he's staring into the fish tank. Nothing else to be taken back. Pushing his way down main, trying to see what he can bite off, but it might be a bit more than he can chew. Rogue taking round 1 with an emphatic attack, and that is the Rogue that we love in EUL.
I love that you mentioned the fishing puns at the beginning of the game, and then you've not gone gently with it. Not taken one opportunity. You've just thrown everything at the wall in round 1, and let's see what sticks.
It's death by exaggeration, right? Like, now you've got to get creative and think of some good ones for the rest of the
That's it. You've just burnt up all of the easy ones.
Oh, no. There's plenty more to come. Plenty more.
I'm sure that we'll find 1 or 2 as this one continues, as I'm sure Rogue are likely to find 1 or 2 more rounds as this one continues. Chiefs, they're going to have to get on the game. They're going to have to get on it quick, because Rogue have just taken round 1 in a very nice attack. Very Rogue-esque attack. Getting aggressive, getting in there, finding kills, Prano plants. That is the Rogue that we have seen over Stage 3 of EUL.
Absolutely. I mean, again, if they see that coming 2 or 3 rounds in a row, Rogue will be unstoppable. They'll just keep on barreling through their opponents. But for Chiefs, again, I don't want to write them out of this game anytime soon. We've seen that they can fight in. We said if they come on to win this game, this group becomes ridiculously spicy. Rogue sure are sat at the top right now, but Chiefs aren't miles behind. I believe they're sat on 4 points. It goes 7, 5, and 4. Chiefs are far from out of this. They have the hope of APAC South on their shoulders as well. That, of course, is the one that we're excited to see remain in, because the dream for everyone, I think, is that you get 2 teams per region out of groups.
Oh, yeah. You're
not going to happen, because NA are all going home on Thursday. We know that. 1-13 are they on?
It's not looking good so far. I think we're just going to have a rehost in this game. Leon's just called for it in the chat there. I'm not sure what the problem is. I see what the problem is now. We've had somebody leave the game. But we will obviously just wait for the admins to confirm, which looks like it's happened. So we'll get Rogue loaded back in. We'll get that problem resolved and we'll be back with you as soon as possible. But the Chiefs here, that might not actually be the end of the world for them, Des, because, you know, that first round was rapid, Rogue. And like you say, they're a team that will thrive on that confidence. If they go in there and get that aggressive round like they have in round 1, if they get away with doing it again in round 2, they're just going to rinse and repeat. Players like Leon, players like Aces, they're just going to keep going in and hitting you hard. So Chiefs, they need to just maybe have that little bit of a breather, mental break. Right, this is what we're going to do to slow them down.
Absolutely. I mean, this time out here is a very small one, but might come as a bit of a bonus you might wager coming in for Chiefs. Stop looking at my puns. I'm writing them down as I'm going, okay?
Honestly, Des.
Stop looking at my iPad. It's mine.
Okay,
Other tablets are available.
I'm sure you've used both of those already.
Nah, that first one I didn't use. That's coming. That's in a future round.
I look forward to it, as I'm sure everybody at home will.
Something about harpoon in this somewhere, and I can't think of what it is.
Sure, everybody at home can't wait to hear it, Des. Chiefs versus Rogue then. We're only one round in. If you've just joined us, don't worry, you've not missed too much. Rogue just managing to successfully assault onto Church and Arsenal, using largely a dirt push. It was something that, to be honest, they really caught Chiefs out with. There was no real attempt to hold them out of dirt. There was no player in there. There was no challenge into there. They were pretty much able to walk in for free, as was Leon, to be honest. As that dirt push came in, Leon just appeared in sight at boxes from Blue Tunnel. And again, was not contested.
I think it really told you a lot when Fisher Guy was still upstairs inside of stock as well, that they had players trying to contest on the top of the map as Rogue were gearing up for a site hit. And it's one of those where the information maybe wasn't there. There wasn't someone sat deep enough inside of dirt because they were all roaming around the map, that by the time they had the information the push was coming in, it was too little, too late, sadly.
I think we're in a position where the teams are just about ready, getting back into the lobby, so we should be back with this one any second now. Don't you worry about that. We'll get you back in as soon as, so don't worry, you won't miss any action at all. And as you said, I think I've not done the maths as of yet, Des, but I'm pretty sure, so, you know, please don't, you know, if there's an option there for some strange tie to occur that would, you know, see this not happen, I think if Rogue win this one, they will pretty much confirm themselves into the playoffs.
That is, yeah, we were talking about this earlier on, and I know Fresh is like really hot on these stats right now. The most exciting thing for Rogue, I think if they make it to the top 4 of this major, they guarantee a spot for SI.
Yes.
And we looked at this at the start, and many were like, oh, they really got the bottle to get all the way up. Can they do it?
They're looking like they might at the minute.
Yeah. I mean, being able to make it out of this group is something special in itself, but SI is the eye on the prize that all these teams really want.
The thing is, they came out yesterday and I think probably felt like they'd not really, necessarily played their best siege, but ultimately they got 2 wins. They're at the top of the table. If that's them not playing their best siege, then what are they going to look like if they do start playing it?
That's the problem. If they keep on warming into this event the same way that NIP have piece by piece, there is going to be a lot to be excited about. We're back into game though. Round 2 is going to be Cash and CCTV defense coming out for Chiefs. In terms of the lineup, it's looking pretty standard. Maybe you look towards the bandit tricking and say we haven't seen that one for quite a while, or the potential laser gates coming in too. No doubt there'll be several options here, but the Wamai and the Jaeger I look to, and it immediately screams to me that you are going to see a garage hole coming in.
You would expect so. Looking to deal with plenty of throwable utility there. So you would expect, as you say, somebody on that catwalk looking to challenge anybody that tries to get themselves into the bottom of it. We saw Vertical do some real damage to Chiefs here in the game earlier on. So, you know, I'm sure they're going to be looking to sort of emulate, to replicate that. We've got Ethan on the Bandit. We'll see exactly where he's going to play, whether he will play on that East Breach for the Bandit trick or not. Not something that we see too much of anymore, but with Prano on the Thermite and Aces on the Ace, as well as Rips on the Flores, I would be surprised if they struggle to deal with that, although 2 Selma charges used on Garage does limit the way that they can maybe look at that hard breach on the East wall.
I think it's quite interesting as well that no bandit charges were committed in towards Garage. Like, whoa, what is this? This is nice and early. Worthy, nice and ready, finds Leon pushing his way into storage. A good start coming in for Chiefs and removes some of the aggression. But Crying, he's down below, finds himself yet another. Storage is now in their control, and maybe Red is going to be their point of entry.
Certainly it looks that way, 4 versus 4 after a very busy first minute there. And I think that's good for Chiefs because it really sends a message, Des, to Rogue that you can't just keep pushing into the map in the first 30, 40 seconds of every round and thinking that you're going to get away with it. You're going to have to make sure that you're doing your droning. You're going to have to make sure that your basics are in place because we're going to surprise you. We're going to hit you on the roam, and that might just slow them down a little bit. We might see, if the sort of aggression continues from Rogue, 1 or 2 trap operators coming along potentially. We might have the Malusi, the Legion brought. Chiefs not diving that deep in just yet, instead using themselves a nice opening kill to slow Rogue down.
It's a slower start after the initial entry explosion came through from either side. You know, the kill being traded back and forth. He is looking to remove away the gadgets that are set in. It will be the mute jammers placed on those walls, so it has burned through a good half of the round. Not a bad outcome for Chiefs. Rogue starting to think about what the push is going to be here. They've got themselves pushing into Garage. They've got the CC breach. It's this south and east attack that we are so used to seeing, especially back in the old days of this map. I think since the changes came through to the map ever so slightly, less teams have gone towards a push on the Cash side. Prano with a great little crossfire coming in. Gets swung out, aiming a little bit high there. Ethan trading it back at 3 versus 3 with 60 seconds to play.
I love that from Ethan, getting nice and aggressive, stepping out in front of that east breach and just cutting Prano down where he stands.
That is an Aces special. Aces will swing that breach every day of the week, and Ethan's saying, hey, there's more than 2 ace players in this game. Let's see what more can step up. Those 2 on the breach. 1 currently, the Flores, sat inside a garage. And look how defensive the members of Chiefs have been. They're dug all the way back in here, sat inside a construction. None of them really wanted to step forward, and now they're really stuck because they can hold the cross.
Fisher Guy is going to go down to Rips, and the diffuser is now in place, so Rogue have managed to recover from that little bit of a jab that Chiefs had where Ethan was able to drop Prano and the diffuser on the half roof there, but everything in place now for Rogue except time. There's 13 seconds left to go. Rips is going to have to stick this. Ethan's underneath. He's got the nitro. He's got the kill. They have no option but to run in and try again. That's exactly what Aces is going to do. He's likely to make this now. Cryan is on the cover. Important that he gets the kills, and he does. 1 to the right, 1 to the left. No stopping Cryan, no stopping Rogue. 2-0.
That could not have gone any better for Cryan at the
I'm done with you.
I was building up for that entire round. That was incredible. It genuinely couldn't have gone any better for Cryan there in that 1 versus 2. And I say 1 versus 2, yes, there were 2 alive, but of course, Aces was getting the plant down. It becomes a glorified 1 versus 2 for 7 seconds there, and he's played it perfectly. Maybe not so perfect by Chiefs, the timing on it a little bit off. The pre-fire came in on towards red rather than towards where the default plant spot was, and that was all the indication Cryan needed to close things out. Wonderful start for Rogue. 2-0 up.
Very, very good so far. We expect Rogue to be good on the attack. The questions that I've got for Rogue are coming in the second half when they get onto the defense. That's where we've seen them struggle, and that's where they're going to have to develop. That's where they're going to have to make changes if they want to go to the semi-finals or above. Des, that's the reality. They're going to have to improve that game because once they get into best of 3s against the better teams in this tournament, they're going to start getting punished if they can't get those defenses locked down. So very important that we see a good second half, whatever happens on the attack here from Rogue.
And look at the change that comes in straight away as well. You're seeing a very defensive sort of, I don't want to say passive setup, but it looks that way when you look at the operator lineup. You've still got Fisher Guy playing on site, you've got Worthy playing upstairs here. So there is a little bit of movement going on, but it's definitely nowhere near as committed to their own game as what they were in the prior round. Worthy, the only player currently sitting off site.
So it's going to be back down to the basement, as you say, just a little bit more committed to the site this time. They did get caught out without having that presence in blue. This time God Legion's going to be down there on the Jaeger. Ethan heading off towards dirt. They're not going to allow themselves to be caught out like they were last time by the aggression of Rogue. I don't think that's what we're going to see from Rogue. You can see this time they're getting themselves into that top floor. They'll recognise quickly that there's nobody there, and they'll know that they have to go back to the basics. They have to get the clear, they have to get the map control, and they need to start opening those hatches.
Absolutely. Prano in nice and quick here, pushing his way in towards storage. 2 of them, in fact, looking to push in from that direction. Starting to work their way in, get hatches opened up. Cryan's on the top floor here, just not really drawing the way in, but he said, you know what, let's just blind fire everything. Let's just walk around the corner and spray and hope that someone's there. What I am very admirable of in terms of Rogue's attack so far is 60 seconds in, they're getting soft destruction opened up. Hatches are being cleared out. They have dealt with those mute jammers that were scattered across the top floor incredibly quickly. They're going to have so much time to think about the execute here. And for the side of Chiefs, well, still looking for that elusive first round.
Looking for an elusive first kill here are Rogue as they're trying to find the man down in blue. Leon is just going to hold his angle for the time being. He knows that God Legion's going to be playing down there. He may well have a drone on him, he may not, but he will expect that it's going to be held down, especially after he was able to walk in there for free last time around. Rips, he's just moving around that mid-floor at a speed that tells me that Rogue are pretty confident that they've got the map control now, which they have. All of Chiefs are back on site, and they are locked in for the remainder. There's a lot of time available here, Des, when you've got Rogue at the bottom of main stairs, 1 minute 10 left to go, and they are starting to open up Church Wall. That is a lot of time. Now then, the impact nade is going to clear out the Selma charge though, so that'll keep that triple wall locked down for now.
They've got no Selmas left. They've gone through all of them there in one rotation, not respecting the fact that you might see this impact trick coming out. They've got 3 remaining, and Prano's got no exothermics. The wall stays closed. That is a dreamy situation for Chiefs, and a little bit of a, not so much disrespect, but not respecting the situation, I think, on the side of Rogue. They're going to have to push in and just make this one work with a very dry standard push. Not able to get anything opened up. This is dream territory coming in for Chiefs as long as they can find the kills. 2 go the way of Rogue. There are 2 coming back. God Legion living up to his name. A 2 versus 3 sets in. Rogue have got 25 seconds.
Plant is going down. Prano's going to look to stick this one on the Thermite. He's in a default spot there. Will be successful. 3 versus 2 though for Chiefs. Ethan gets in, gets 1. Prano manages in a 1 versus 3 to get the first, get the second. Can he get the third? He's had to go to pistol, Des, and he loses it based on his ammo count. He just can't be competitive in that fight. Ethan finds the kill, will disable the diffuser, and that was very close to a 1v3 for Prano.
Very, very close, but it's official, Ace. They've finally got a round on the board. They're fighting their way back in, and it's not going to be a clear-cut game for Rogue. 2-1 is how it stands, and Chiefs finally finding a way in.
It was a very efficient retake coming in from Chiefs there. See, I can join in as well, Des.
Christ's sake, Ace, can we just stop with the jokes already and focus on the game? Let's have a see how round number 4 plays out. It's going to be Cash and CC for round 4. That Bandit sticking true once more. It's the similar setup, well, basically identical unless there's a change away, and it will be there, the Valkyrie, which of course made it through the ban phase. We haven't really seen that brought out yet. And I'm always curious when I see things like a Valkyrie or an Echo. In subsequent rounds, do the attackers start bringing an IQ? Do they say, you know what, we can deal with it? Often teams can't deal with it. They're always places such cheeky, precarious places that people, they don't look for the obvious, as obvious as they might be to some teams. So who knows? We'll see where they go down from Ethan. We'll see what impact they can have on this round.
Valkyrie can be impactful on any map. I'd say Clubhouse generally is one that we see a little bit less use for her, even if she's available. But brought along gear from Ethan, and we know that there's going to be real opportunities for those cameras inside of the map. Particularly, I mean, they're missing the cameras that they're against there. Crying just able to watch that one going in and out of stock there. But they've got a nice little cam there inside of top of blue stairs. There's, always the potential. If they were down in Church and Arsenal, I think, there's a couple of cams there. Obviously, they can't go there because they've just successfully defended, but there's a couple of nice cams that you can put in kitchen, places like that. Here, maybe one in construction might be of use to them, so they know whether the push is coming in there or not. I think that's exactly... Is it? No. Ethan's gone through. I was going to say, I think that's where he was heading at that point in time, but he's going to dip away just to see if he can get himself a nice view onto the outside.
Indeed they can. As it starts, nothing too explosive happening. We saw earlier on the vaults, for example, inside of storage, leading to very early exchanges coming in for either side. The focus on the wall is getting it opened up. No denial coming in means it will be nice and quick. And those laser gates will have to chew through a little bit of utility, easily reactivated. So for Rogue, you don't want to pop those off too early. It offers extra cover to Digital, who's got the 2 laser gates, got ADSs set around him, got magnets scattered around. It is going to be very difficult to unseat him with the limited throwing utility that Rogue actually have. There's no flashbangs. They've got 4 frags, 2 smokes, well, now 3 frags. I think he'll be pretty safe there, and he shouldn't be moved away.
Can't be moved away, really, for the time being at least. He has to hold on to this position. He's just trying to challenge onto that single door should anybody try to push in. They're just going to use the ping there to show where the utility is, see if Crying can get his shots through. Yes, he can. Just see him dipping far enough back. The reason that Crying is doing that and taking that from such a long angle is because he doesn't want to get challenged by Digital on that door. Worthy manages to find a kill onto Leon. Great opener there. Prano onto Fisher Guy, but Worthy gets himself a second in the round, and this is back and forth. It's 3 versus 3 right now, as Rogue have got garage control. They should have most most of what they need, if not all, but that is a big mistake. There's
Oh,
the
no.
Selma charge being eaten up by the Magnet.
It's happened again where they just haven't respected that things can impede them. The impact trick in last round, the magnets that have been scattered across that wall the entire round. It's going to stop the Selma going off. It's going to stop the wall being opened up. They're going to have to push in through the left side, which can be challenged by Worthy at long range here. That makes me nervous for Rogue. Small things like that don't seem like such a big deal, but my God, can they completely transform the outcome of a round.
Oh, at this level, it's absolutely the difference. You know, we talk about the fine margins all the time, and this is going to be an important position for Worthy to hold here. He's going well so far. 4 kills inside of the game, and he's hitting his shots, so he could be a big difference maker for Chiefs now. You can see how nervous Rogue are as they don't want to push forward, and here comes the pressure from Worthy. He's had to dip away from the fight for the time being. In comes a nade. Everything's being thrown at him to try and keep him away, but Ethan's below. They've already suffered to this. Out goes the Nitro. It gets a kill, but Rips and Aces get 2 of their own. Ethan has to make his way back up red. They knew where he was coming from. He just hit them with the Nitro. Aces moves quickly to get over to the top, shut him down as he tries to make the flank, and that's going to be another round for Rogue.
Well, if we haven't seen Rogue in a 2v1 before, with Aces and Cryin being the ones left alive against Ethan, it is identical to how the prior round played out, but this time there wasn't a 2 versus 2 coming in from Cryin. It just came down to a very simple red push, forget about the diffuser, and go for the round end. Understandably, the side of Chiefs want to have a timeout here. 3-1 currently to Rogue. Things not going their way. Chiefs, this is on the defensive half. Again, reminding you, Rogue are the ones on the attack. They've got 3 rounds. That's a dream start.
It's ideal for Rogue, you know, like you say, they're doing well on the attack. They want to just take full advantage of that now, get themselves the win on the board, and then they don't have to worry about the remainder of their games. You know, they're going to be confident at that point that they're going through. They can start looking towards those playoffs. They can start sort of almost preparing for them. They can use those games to think, right, is there anything we need to try? Is there anything we need to sharpen up? And they can really start pushing on towards those knockout stages.
Absolutely. The next site we'll step into will be Chairman Bedroom, by the way. So we've seen Church twice, we've seen CC twice. Now we finally get to see the offsite coming in, because despite still having those as an option, Chiefs are probably starting to acknowledge here that Cash CC is just not going to be their play, and maybe they'll find some better success on Gym Bedroom. We haven't seen tons of Clubhouse so far here at the Major, and I was really excited about the number of, variations of bar stage defenses that we might see coming out. We saw a number from, Na'Vi, Kavana, I think of, across an EUL. We've barely seen it so far at the Major.
I really spoke about it this morning on the cast that I did with Blue. I spoke about bar on stage. We saw it, and I went through the process, particularly that Na'Vi hold, and how teams as attackers are being forced to plant on stage essentially, because the top floor hold is solid. You can have the Nitro from underneath, and really the area that defenders need to worry about is by those speakers on the stage, and got to have a plan in order to deal with that. But as you say, not too many teams bringing that defense out. I think we've just seen quite a lot of it in EUL, so we look at it and we think, yeah, go to bar on stage, but I think globally maybe teams aren't quite as comfortable with that side.
Absolutely. This one is a bit of a different thing, so we'll see an entirely different approach to attack coming out of Rogue. Worthy and Ethan, the 2 currently out on their own. They're the ones who've been having big success. Fisher Guy still fishing for kills at this point, 0 and 3. Digital the same. And God Legion is present, getting a kill or 2 along the way, but really it's been on those top 2 players to start getting Chiefs anything on the board, including the 1 round that they have found to date. Quite spread across this top floor. Worthy looking to greet Rogue on their entry in towards the east side. Welcome into Clubhouse, offer them a stiff drink or a stiff body or 2 in response.
Ace is just looking through that main lobby there, not going to catch anybody out, probably looking for potential rotations as defenders try to get themselves back to site. Chiefs, pretty standard setup here, looking to hold on to Cash and CCTV. Going to allow them to aggress onto the CCTV window later in the round if they can be successful in holding onto it. But Rogue will try to have something to say about that. We've already got Cryin moving in on the sledge. He's looking to get aggressive here. He needs to be careful because part of that Cash wall has been opened up, and that's not always the case. He's cleared off the utility, which allows Prano to open up the east breach, and as we can see, Chiefs already being forced back really here, Des.
I mean, you're seeing the advantage of roaming here, right? We've taken 60 seconds to get a wall open where it's nowhere near the site. just by the sheer presence of Ethan and Worthy out towards that side of the map, giving them something to think about, has slowed Rogue down a metric ton. They've now got control of CC, so from there they can look to play on the south balcony if so desired, making use of the bedroom and gym window, and Nade almost catching out Fisher Guys down to 100 HP and still able to hold firm for now. Realises that unfortunately that's not going to be his opening kill of the game. Instead, it's going to be a decoy.
Nice aggression from him onto that hatch. He's certainly holding Rogue at bay for the time being. You can see that Leon's just been a little bit tentative about approaching this hatch. He's already taken some damage from it, and Fisher Guy will continue to challenge that for the time being. Now, Digital, he's got himself a Nitro placed under that floor, so if Fisher Guy makes the call and lets him know that he's actually been forced out of there, or maybe takes a death and goes away, give it 20 seconds. How about that for the reverse angle fight as well? Prano down outside. Fisher Guy's absolutely controlling this round from Logistics at the minute, Des.
Weather in the storm for sure, no matter what Rogue throw at him, be it come hail or sunshine, they're dealing with it. So far it's been a couple of nades and a bunch of bullets, but nothing yet able to rip him to shreds. As he holds in this spot though, more and more drones being whittled down. Rogue have got 4 remaining on the table, and it feels like they've met their maker. They can't quite get through a key location they need, because the last thing you want is to just go and push directly into sight, as Ace is about to try and do. Worthy almost finding him out.
Worthy gets found out though as Rips cuts him down from the window, and that's exactly the angle that we talk about needing Season to be control for. It doesn't look like the Nitro is gonna go off. No, unsuccessful. Cryin manages to keep himself away from it. Prano's in sight, he's getting the diffuser down, and they know now that they put it underneath. What a shot from Ethan though. Manages to get one, can't get any more, and that's another successful round from Rogue. Good patience from Rogue there, Des. It took them the best part of about a minute and a half to get inside of Logistics, but they just kept chipping away at it, and they kept going. They shut down Fisher Guy eventually, and they got themselves established, and from there it was a quick finish to the round.
Yeah, Fisher Guy doing a lot of work, to be fair, but once Rogue started pushing forward with confidence and sent 2 in, prepared to trade kill for it as well, that's where the success comes from. And I think across the major we've seen a few teams that they have their entry players essentially pushing solo. They get picked up and it's like, guys, where's the trade? What are we gaining by having this player go in solo? And we criticized the team for it yesterday. I want to say it was Rogue on Shally, actually. We said, you know, Leon a little bit too far forwards, costing them a player for free, only for Cryin and Rips to push through just behind him and do it right. One of them did die, but they got the trade straight after. And I liked that we're seeing that composure from Rogue to not steamroll you in and try and do your best. They're taking their time. They're using it well, admittedly putting it down to about 30 seconds or so. But no matter which way you paint it, they are 4-1 up on the attack. This is a prolific first half by any measure.
It certainly is. You know, they 4-1 up there and they look good for it. Like I said yesterday, you got a feeling that Rogue came away thinking they'd maybe not played their best Siege, but they'd still got the results. Today, I think they're going to be feeling pretty happy with the performance, because they are looking sharp here, and they're taking Chiefs to task, as it were, and really making life difficult for them. Now then, it's going to be the final defense for Chiefs here. They're going to be back down in Church and Arsenal. Rogue have been able to successfully attacked this once back in round 1, but in round 3 Chiefs were able to get the win here. They played a much more turtle defense than they did in round 1. They were able to lock down their angles, and they were able to make Rogue's life very difficult. It looks like that is going to be much the same play here. We can see all the defenders are down on that basement level, so it's just about how quickly Rogue recognise that and get in and start doing that work. Rogue need to be careful. You pointed it out, Des, with things like the basics. They can't be giving up those Selma charges to those impact tricks too much. They need to make sure that they're getting the walls open.
Absolutely. I do like that we're seeing that hard breach coming in just in case they need the extra backup. They've seen them mess it up twice before, so want to bring even more firepower if things aren't going the way that you planned. Leon onto a bit of a different operator in the Capitale. I have been a massive fan of Capitale for the longest time as well. I think having the 2 firebolts you've got with the widespread they have, plus smokes, ridiculously powerful operator already. Then give him a relatively decent gun and make it a 3-speed. God, like, why wouldn't you want to pick it? And I think with the rise in Wamai bans we've seen, I know it isn't banned here and it is in effect, but teams like G2 have banned away with things like the Wamai and brought along Capitale, because you know that you are going to very freely burn through things like a garage hold. It's just incredibly effective no matter whether you're trying to clear out a roamer and force someone to run, whether you're trying to execute with the smokes. It just gives you so many options.
It should give them a nice option to deal with God Legion down in blue, should they choose to do so, using those asphyxiation arrows. Just burn him out of there, don't allow him to stay in behind.
Can they rename those?
Generator.
Just a firebolts?
Fireball.
I think asphyxiation confused people.
Do you think? The fire arrows.
It is a very, very
To
fancy way of saying can't breathe.
It is. So Leon, he's going to be looking. He's got himself back up to the top of blue stairs. He used that hard breach gadget to get the hatch open, and as you say, that just allows now Aces to have a bit more flexibility with those Selma charges. Prano, a couple of exothermic charges as well, so Rogue shouldn't really be worrying too much about that hard breach utility. Crying, trying to find his vertical angles. You sort of feel like Rogue at step 4 out of 5 here, Des. They're ready to push. They've got the angles they need. They need to start finding kills now.
They haven't got the information either as well. Down to 2 drones at this point, and sure, many would say, well, we know where they are. We don't need drones. The thing is, players move, believe it or not. I believe actually it was G2 famously said, maybe it was even Pengu, who said information is only good for 5 seconds. By then, players have moved on. Things have changed. You need to be aware of that. Unfortunately, bouncing that grenade over the top, and they are trying to clear away the jammer on the other side, but feeling a little bit nervous about the prospects of being able to get away with that by the look of it. Only the 1 drone left to watch the flank for them. They need to do this now. It's do or die, 5 versus 5, and they've still got smoke canisters to shoot through.
Not an easy nade shot to make over the top, and it's not going to matter probably as Rips and Aces managed to go in and get Worthy and Digital. Prano thinking about getting that diffuser down, but all of a sudden kills just rain in. Leon, I don't know what has happened there, but it leaves us in a 2 versus 2. Prano getting diffuser down, Aces on the cover. He finds his man. Does he find the second? He snaps back to the door, but Fisher Guy manages to dip away. He gets him on the rotation, and Rogue close out what could have been a very difficult round. There was some craziness there with 20 seconds left to go, but they get the job done.
Leon, after their game yesterday, went on Twitter and very honestly, fair play to him, said, we didn't deserve to win that game. I would say much the same about that round. They are in a 5 versus 5 with 20 seconds on the clock. They've got 3 smoke canisters still to be used against them. They have not got the main breach open because it's jammed and they haven't dealt with it in time. Everything in that round screams defenders should win. If you go and take a top down of that round before all the craziness kicked off, that should be a Chiefs round every day of the week. But this is the beauty of Siege, and I say it all the goddamn time. If you don't win your gunfights, you're not going to win rounds. Rogue get 2 out of seemingly nowhere and press on for the round win. They find themselves at 5-1. And you know what? Sometimes even the best teams in the world find themselves in attacking situations like that, where everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. You've got no drones, nothing is open, you've got no time, but you just make it work. They've pulled that out the bag.
That is the key there, Des. It's about being able to win those rounds.
Ergy time.
Those championship teams that come through and win at major events are the teams that can find a way. Rarely will it all go your way. Rarely will you just go in and win round after round after round. You're going to be challenged. You're going up against the best teams in the world. And when things don't stack up, you've got to be able to problem solve. You've got to be able to find a way around the roadblock. And that's exactly what Rogue did there. Well played to them. 5 versus 5. 5-1 on the scoreboard as we start the action phase of round 7. Chiefs going to be on the attack now. They brought Jackal along with Ethan because they recognise that they've got Aces on the Oryx and they've got Leon on the Vigil. There's going to be a roam presence for Rogue. Chiefs know they need to deal with it. The question is, will they?
Absolutely. There's a lot of work to be doing. Aces off charging around like a lunatic as he does on this top floor. The big boy can charge his way through a few walls whilst he's out on the roam. And look at the difference as well. I mean, I don't want to highlight one player, but Leon here is 1-5 as someone that's tried to play these more aggressive spots, and that was good knowledge from God Legion. Right place, right time, also the preparation, but also smart from Leon. If you're wondering why he took down both impacts, one was to break the door, one was to destroy what he expected to be a Claymore present from God Legion. It hadn't been placed at the time, and he would have found himself a freebie if not for God Legion being, dare I say, a little bit slow. Claymore wasn't down, was holding on the corner, for example. Unfortunate timing, but I like the idea.
Not the ideal start for Rogue on the defence here. As we said, coming in, it has been the defence where there are questions to be answered by Rogue. So they want to make sure that they get this one done as quickly as possible.
Drones already whittling down to just 5 left, by the way.
That's
We're only 60 seconds in.
Good play from Rogue. They're really shutting down that information game, picking them up. As you say, only 50% of that utility left available for Chiefs is going to leave them just a little bit short of information, potentially, especially when you got Rips and Crying out on the roam.
It's a really interesting roam because roaming on this map for most teams means the SSG roam. Mute Mozzie on the top floor, the Vigil supporting the ground floor, but Rogue are playing it quite differently. The attempted run out of Garage, they had Crying, sat at the top of Red Stairs, Rip supporting lower down towards Lounge and Bar, and even Ace is here, still charging his way forward. Another drone is taken out, and now Worthy is feeling a little bit nervous. Fisher Guy trying to poke his head in through dirt, finds himself taken down as well. A 4 versus 4 at least for now. I imagine Fisher Guy could get recovered, if not for Rips finishing him off in the first place.
I wasn't sure how aware Rogue were of love that push coming down dirt tunnel, but then we just saw it. Prano smoked out that doorway, and it just told me they know that he's there, and this is going to be trouble for Chiefs, and trouble it was. Now then, they're going to have Digital downed as well. Maybe an opportunity to pick him up, but they know that they need to be careful because Aces is lurking. He's just going to try to use that player as bait. Now, if he knows that he's down, he's going to try and just get a nibble from anybody who wants to come in and pick him up, and he will get that kill. You know that it is what Aces does. It's his bread and butter. Chiefs just feel like they've stalled out a little bit here, Des. 30 seconds left to go. They need to come up with an idea.
They do. They've got to make this push happen forwards. There's one coming back, but it's a one-for-one trade coming out in the end. Rip sideswipes, finds one, can't find the head of the next. Finds himself dropped onto the ground. The 2 versus 2 is Digital still on the deck. Ethan finds one. It's basically a 2 versus 1. Aces and Prano against God Legion. Finding his stepping himself in. Does he know where the man is? Can't see him behind the box. Now, where's Aces on the recover? The thing is, I think he's got enough time here as well. All he's got to do is play the long game. Got the diffuser. Can try and go for a plant, but Aces can close this one out. They've got him on ping. It's the freest close of the round in the world. Rogue taking round 7, goes 6-1, and they are looking pretty fixated on the being top in this group, Ace.
Absolutely, like you say, it was a defense that there was a few cracks in, you know, that Chiefs could potentially have got through. They kept having those opportunities to come in and continue contesting. If Ethan and Digital weren't downed, then maybe things go a little bit differently. But Chiefs just unable to get that one over the line. And Rogue, they fought hard for it, and a well-deserved round going their way. 6-1 in the game now. They are starting to run away with things. Aces 12-1, Des. Aces has only died in 1 round out of 7.
We said coming into the major, and even in stage 3, you know, looking back at stage 2, he didn't have the best time. In fact, much of the last 12 months has been pretty rough for Aces. We said the time when he plays best is when he's happy. When you see him on camera and he's smiling, it's a pretty obvious thing, you know. You do things a lot better when you're happy. And I think in his mind now, if he's here enjoying himself, even Meepy said coming into this for us, this event is a bonus. Our objective this year was avoid relegation. We didn't want to get caught into a 9th or 10th place relegation fight again. They have avoided that. The major is a bonus. A lot of work being done by Bernie behind the scenes, the team psychologist as well, who's really helped them be a lot more positive in their aspect. They talk a lot more, I've been told by Meepy. And if ever you've watched EUL, you'll see them fist bumping the cameras at the end of the rounds. That's a ritual for positivity, to get them on the same side and make sure each round is a reset. And I think it's really starting to show in player performance. Not just that, but let's not also forget that Prano, as a new player, has come in. He's their IGL. A lot of that responsibility has been taken away from Aces so he can focus on his roam play, and you're seeing the results of that today. Blimey, Stream B's finding fun.
Certainly is sounding fun. Of course, FaZe playing out against Oxygen at the moment over on Stream B. And again, I've said it countless times, it's what I love about groups. We do the cast and then we come off and we catch up with what's been going on. And there's just absolute wall-to-wall action for 3 days.
I love how we come out of groups and you kind of through there, your hair's all frazzled, your shirt's half torn off, and everyone's standing there going, well, that was fun, weren't it?
We need the day off in between just to recover.
My God, I mean, my voice, if those of you can't tell, is already half going because of all the shouting in the last 24 hours. I guarantee it'll be well rested, but it just goes to show how exciting and how exhilarating groups are. Down 1 key top of Group D. No one expected that coming in. SSG maybe not making it through if things carry on the way they are. We just don't know at this stage, and that's what makes it so exciting. But in this round itself, you can see the Maverick getting to work on that East Breach, looking to get things opened up, and hopefully Fisher Guy's going to find it falling away very soon for them to pop it out very comfortably with God Legion, pulling out the impacts, blowing the wall open. Bada bee, bada bum. The breach is opened up and they can put their focus back in towards Garage.
Rogue doing a good job of containing the utility of Chiefs so far. We've seen the Rotero drones taken out. That one will successfully be able to open up the angle through the soft wall into Cash. Going to make it a little bit more difficult for the defenders to play that deep angle where they look to try and deny any plant attempt with the long-range utility from the smoke, for example. Going to have to be careful trying to do that now. Worthy just looking to get up on the rooftop and get himself an angle, but halfway through the round, no kills for Chiefs here. I feel like the first kill really needs to go in their direction, Des. If they give Rogue an opportunity and a man advantage here, I think Rogue are going to close this out here and now. They are absolutely merciless so far.
I mean, look at Cryin. He's off on main stairs at the other end of the map. He's basically in Narnia for all intents and purposes. They've got a couple hanging around construction. Prano on site, one more down just below him. They're not really feeling pressured right now. They're happy to play a little bit loose. Worthy got a bit of pressure in towards Garage, and I said that once that East Breach was open, their attention would likely move in towards Garage. No one's actually moved there there yet. It's looking very samey. A nice bolt in. They've got the trade coming out, but look at the kills fly as orange is all you see in the kill feed. 3 kills go the way of Rogue. Chiefs in a 2 versus 3. They need to make this work. They find one onto Leon. Rips this down, but Crying with another big 2K to close the round. We saw it whilst the plant was going down previously. Rogue with a dominating 7-1 victory over the Chiefs.
Dominating certainly is the word there. There were bumps in the road for Rogue, but they always found a way around them, Des. I want to just give Crying a little shout as well. We've seen quite a number of 2Ks like that coming in from him at important moments. We saw it twice in this game. Ace is planting, Crying gets a 2K. We saw it at the end there, just comes in, nice 2K to finish it off. He's been playing well so far over the last couple of days, and I think we're probably going to see that continue from him.
It was a quiet game overall, 6-4. You know, the 2Ks that we saw were really high impact. And to be fair, in a game where there's only 8 rounds, if you're influencing 2 or 3 of them to get it to a conclusion and get it over the finish line, forget about what you're doing in the rest of it. Let Aces charge around like a maniac because you're delivering your team a very comfortable win. Great overall for Rogue, isn't it? Absolutely delighted for them there.
Yeah, top of the table. They're sitting pretty. I'll go away and do the maths, but I think they're pretty much confirmed to be going through to the playoffs now, if not absolutely confirmed. It's been a great couple of days for them.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, I'm not sure they've even played their best, Des. In honesty.
They're warming up.
Like more to come. They have more to come.
They're warming up. We're going to go and cool down whilst they warm up. Go to a quick break. When we come back, the analysts will have much to break down. See you guys soon.
What does it take to create the future of a gaming community? Join us on this 4th episode of I Call Next as we discover how to level up gameplay and reset the expectations of an entire league. PayPal, press play.
Easy going right there. One more to go.
Welcome back to the desk here in very, very chilly Sweden, but it's chilly here and it's heating up in the server because I believe something very important happened just as that match occurred. I believe we have our very first playoff teams here.
We do. And Ace referenced it. He said, Rogue have done their bit. We don't know what happened in the other game. We don't know the final result of the other game, but we did see that FaZe got 6 rounds.
Yep.
Which means Rogue got the regulation win. FaZe got 6 rounds. Rogue are our very first team into the playoffs. Woo! You
know what I was about to do, and I was like, do I rub it in the faces of everyone out there that our region, when I say our region, I've been inducted into the EU family, so technically I can say our region.
Who inducted you?
This was a long time ago I've been inducted now. Come on, guys. I've been in Europe for a while, but we can definitely say that the very first team is the EU Massive, as the UK Massive like to say. And I think the biggest thing to point out about this is that they did it with ease. Unfortunately, my Australian boys couldn't handle the heat that Rogue were bringing. And I mean, for the most part, whilst I saw some incredible gun skill from the side of Chiefs, it is not enough. You are at a major competition. You need more substance than just your mechanical skill.
And every highlight that you see here, Rogue have the plant down. They were so good. Even the round that Chiefs won there on the defense, Rogue was still able to get the plant down. They were very, very, very good at getting the plant down in their attacks, playing the objective. And it's a consistent theme that we've seen out of Rogue. Aggressive attacks. We saw them rush the basement on when Chiefs were trying, the SSG roam. We saw them rush it, take sight, get the plant down, win the round. And that's just a consistent theme from Rogue. They've done it right throughout the group so far. They'll take it into the playoffs, and they could have a real deep run from a team that was just expecting, that we're here as this is our bonus for staying safe from EUL.
Not only that, if they make it to the semi-finals, I believe,
yes,
they are almost guaranteed their ticket to the Six Invitational. A team that was looking down the barrel of relegations not only went to the Sweden Major, but is also one step closer now to making it to the World Championships for Rainbow Six Siege. If you're an anime fan like I am, that is a beautiful redemption arc to have. But the match summary will come up on your screen. The one thing I wanted to analytically break down for the viewers out there about the Chiefs gameplay, and I think it's very, unironic that the Australian break this down for the Australian team here, is that they themselves, especially in post-plant situations, were taking 1v1s when they had the man advantage. So in a 2v1 or even in a 2v2 situation post-plant, which is what most of these rounds were here for Rogue, why are you peeking someone by yourself? You have a teammate to go in and get the job done. And as a result, looking over at the scoreboard, whilst Worthy was getting a bunch of entry kills, they get to the mid and the late parts of the round and they can't capitalize on those entry kills because guess what? They're peaking one by one. That is what a team unfortunately will learn coming into the international stage like this, of which Chiefs is learning unfortunately in full hands.
They got schooled. There's just no two words about it. Rogue have a particular playstyle. So, going to Clubhouse, which is a favoured map for Rogue, starting defence against Rogue that know how to attack and know how to attack with aggression, play to their key win conditions.
Yep.
You've got 4 players on Rogue, Crine, Prano, Aces, Leon Gids, who you can talk about are exceptional fraggers. Rips isn't bad as well, by the way. and that's the thing. Rogue play to that. That very first round was a rush into sight, and you can't play Clubhouse against a team full of fraggers that know how to play it and know how to attack it particularly well and expect, to win the game.
Well, I think right now, even though we are so excited about the fact that Rogue will be the very first team to make it into the playoffs confirmed, I want to point out some other teams that are close behind their tail, especially in the groups A and B. So let's bring that graphic right up on your screen to work out how the numbers are adjusting around the teams in both of these groups. Of course, Rogue is the top of Group A at the moment. That is not looking to change anytime soon, even though FaZe is a win and a bit outside of that range. They are locked in at the top. So let us not, they might bounce around second, of course, but they're locked in to move into the playoffs, and it will be the 3 teams below their FaZe, the Chiefs and Oxygen, who are vying for that second spot. For those of you who don't know, only the top 2 teams will make it out of each group to the playoffs. That's how this system works. But if you just want to trail your eyes down to Group B, looking like the major champions from last major, they're still keeping that quote-unquote top dog spot after, every single team bar Dark Zero is able to hold on to those 6 points apiece.
And that's who we're seeing next as well. Next up, we are seeing Vitality against Dark Zero in the A stream. And every team, apart from Dark Zero, has 6 points. It genuinely could be any team that goes through.
You don't
I'm not
know.
sure it'll be determined tonight. It's probably going to go into tomorrow's games, but what a group that is. Everybody's literally beating everybody.
I love how we're saying we're like literally excuse North America.
Apart from Dark Zero, yeah.
We put North America in the corner and we just go, better luck next time, buddy. They still have an opportunity, of course. We're talking like they don't have an opportunity. Obviously, there is the slimmest of margins that teams go to OT and things go crazy. But
yeah, I believe it's actually out of the hands of...
Yes, of Dark Zero personally.
Dark Zero, yeah.
Correct. So there are minute chances here for Dark Zero to make it out, but it is a very, very entertaining group. Nevertheless, we will move on to that very, very shortly, but when we come back, as you pointed out before, our very next match, we might have some stings happening very quickly, and that's what we want. So when we come back, we'll bring you that game here on the A Stream.